second video because I just want to say, follow your heart and do what you need to do. Sometimes you're going to be the only person in a group of people or in a stadium that has the energy and can turn on that light and activate it, all right? So there really is, from my own inner level experiences, there is a point in which we have to breathe our own breath. We have to do the things that we can to be prepared for the higher frequencies. It is, if you want to think of it, it is kind of like a physical workout, but it's less tangible. All right, so it is a workout in your emotions, it's a workout in your energy, and it does show up in the choices you make, in the emotions, whether you act or react, and certainly shows in if you're creating. And get into that place of being your own creative genius. Get to the place where you are inspired and learn from those of others, but then you're taking what you have to the next level. Everything that's come before you is great, and now go in and create something beautiful and sustainable for yourself, for your family, and for your community, and for your animal, for the earth, for the water, the air, the ether, for the beautiful architecture and structure, for the food, for the minerals, for the water, for the forest. Pick an area and concentrate and focus. And we all pick our areas of concentration and focus and join together, not out of fear, but out of love, okay? So I had this experience with a session that I had with one of my mentors. And I went there to remove any blocks to really bringing in this energy and preparing for this initiation. It can be a little bit challenging because, well, there isn't anyone else around you that's doing these kinds of things. And so sometimes it's a bit hard and challenging when you're the only one doing that. But once you get into the energy, you know you're never alone. But there's a gap between sitting down and doing your meditation and seeing how that's connected to your life, especially if this is with your soul group and your collective and everybody's fully engaged. That's what's happening. Everyone's fully engaged. All my sisters, all my brothers. I know. I feel them, and we work together in the inner levels, and literally we live a half an hour, from each other, and we don't get together because we're living lives, we're raising children, we're creating opportunities, we're teaching, and we're living our life, and we're doing these incredible inner level meditations and taking things to the next level. So with my mentor, had a session, remove blocks. What happened was there was this beautiful golden light in the center. And there were people around. And as I approached the people, like I would expect that the arms would open, and they didn't. What happened is as I got closer, the arms and the people came together. And they kind of went arm to arm, and they came together more closely packed so I couldn't see the light that was in. And I was surprised. I was like, wait a minute, why is that happening? And I'm like, they're not embracing me, they're closer. It's like they hear me and they feel me, and now they're like kind of like trying to like shoulder me out. And so then I was like, I could sit here and tell the story about how people are shouldering me out and I'm not being invited to the group or to the party. And honestly, that was just like a blink of an eye. And I could tell my story, I could go into that, but in that moment I was like, that center right there, that's where I want to be. And so I literally flew into the center. And I had this conscious awareness that I could stay where I was and stay stuck by telling my story about how I'm alone and actually people see me, but they're not inviting me to the party. And I feel, it didn't even go like that. I'm just bringing that more now if you need to feel what would have it happened. And that didn't happen. I went to the center and it turned gold. And then what happened is I was gold, and there were all these other beautiful gold energies, and we spiraled up into a staircase. Now, there were other things that happened after that, spiraling into the staircase. So then this week, what I did is I went back into that image, and I went into the image where I was there, and there were people were shouldering me out. And I was telling my husband, I was like, I have all these pictures of people together. I was just seeing this beautiful picture I have on my front door, the back of my front door of people holding hands, and it's really beautiful, open, inviting picture. I'm like, if I were leading a group, what I would be doing is be like, okay, here's my community. Everyone is opening their hands to make room for other people. You know how you make room for other people? Oh, here, come sit here. Oh, can you see the speaker okay? We look around to make sure everyone has a good seat. There are no bad seats in the house, right? So then what happened is I'm like, okay, we're all here together and we're opening the space. And then what happens? Well, then what happens is there's all these gold people, gold, and they turned into gold energy, but they were specific individuals, faceless but filled with gold. And then what happened is they went not only from a circle and a wide circle, but then the circle began to spiral out, and it spiraled and it spiraled and it spiraled, and it turned into like 1,000 golden petals. It was the most beautiful thing in the world, and I was there, not in the center. There was a center that was this golden, beautiful light, and that I was there anchoring in so the spiral could go around and around and around. It was the most beautiful feeling in the world. So I'm just coming on today to share this energy with you, because sometimes it's like that. Sometimes you just have to like no matter where you're at, you got to drop that story. I felt it more than I even thought it. It was like, what's going on here? I'm surprised. Even in my meditation, I'm being shouldered out. I don't get this. And it was like, that's where I want to be. Keep my eye on the prize. Keep my eye on the bigger vision. Because, sometimes it's what they say. People don't have the awareness. And even if they have the awareness of what they're doing, they don't understand what that's creating. Okay? They don't understand what that's creating. So you keep a balance of giving and receiving. You keep a balance of what you learn. You demonstrate that. You embody that for other people. You can teach that to other people and guide that. And as long as you're doing that, then you are in a place of that's going to happen. You naturally going to be the kind of person who invites people, and you're going to naturally be the person who says, you know what, I'm going to invite this person. They may come, they may not come. They may understand, or they may think I'm marketing, but it doesn't matter, because when it comes to the heart and when it's a genuine openness and when you invite people, it's up to us. My inner guidance, my highest guidance tells me that I am the inviter. And I've done things where I didn't have people come, and I had an online event instead, or I had a meditation, but I found some way to deliver. I didn't feel like I was dependent upon other people. I would love for people to come, but I understand and I trust that there are other things that were going on. But I also didn't stop doing it. I did an online event, and then not only that, I did a meditation, and I do this in advance when people come to sign up for things. So I haven't really done much recently because of what's going on in the hug around the world, and because of these global meditations. And I don't say that to, I don't know. You know what I mean? This is that point where we're being asked to step forward, and even I'm uncomfortable saying that sometimes. And what happened, I can tell you what happened to me. This is what happened. So I was in a certification, and in that certification, we were asked to do 50, and I did 10 pretty quickly. And I didn't make it like, oh, I'm going to do so many a day. I was like, I allowed my energy and inner guidance and spirit to come through me, and whoever came my way, whoever reached out and contacted to me, I would create ways to give. But every morning and every night for an hour, I would send out energy freely, and so that was 2 hours a day. Well, and then I did my sessions in between. And so I would broadcast it. I'd post it. Sometimes people would come, sometimes they wouldn't, but I always sent it out to everybody. I always sent it out to those closest to me. I always sent it so that it was available, like the sunshine and the colors here. So then what happened was Spirit had said to me, by the end of the certification, you have 500. 550? No, 500. You will do 500. And so and again, it was a very quick rush. And so it was like, all right, I know that I'm not going to sit down and say, if I do 500 by the end of this program, that means I have to do how many a week? And I wasn't going to do it that way. I've done it that way before, and I know that it works out. And so my learning in this part was serving whoever comes my way, serving in a way that I'm being asked to serve, and feeling into that and then jumping on that, right? Getting engaged in it, taking the action in it. So what happened was I went, oh my gosh, 500, but I didn't tell anybody. Because that's just how I was just taught we do the work. Part of the reason why we've always done the work that way, what comes to me now, is that we don't want interfering energies involved in it. So rather than talking and saying stuff and creating, waves out in the world, we go into the inner levels and we do the work. We've done work where we removed entities from people who had addictions. I've personally had to face entities in my house and other people's houses, during the day. I've also gone into the dream time, and I've had to face entities. And when I did that, they tried to engage with me, and I would not engage with them. They would try to tell me a story, or they try to say this or that. And what my shamanic teacher taught me is don't engage in it. No matter what's going on, don't engage. Clear and go on. Because really what happens is that stuck energy, right? That those energies that are out there happen and will stay there because we actually give them a lot of attention. Oh no, I have this thing in my house. And yeah, what am I going to do about it? What's the gap between when I identify there's an energy known or unknown in my life or in my dream time? What do I do about it? So just like I did here, where it comes to me now, one of the reasons why I brought up the story about having a healing session with my mentor, and I have three different mentors that I go to that are doing service work on levels that we will never see. And I come to them and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm going, how is that coming along? And they will tell me and they will show me, and it helps me tremendously. And I'm vulnerable, and I give that up to them, and I book the sessions and I pay for those sessions. And before I go to the sessions, I do my level best to clean and do the things I need to do to follow my inner guidance so that I make the best out of that. Now, that's how I'm wired. I've had a lot of loss around me. When that happens, I'm like, it motivates me. It motivates me to be here. It motivates me to do what I need to do. It motivates me to let go of it and to move forward and not to make a big to-do about it. That's just how I am. So I just want to say, this is it. Like, if you're interested in that, keep staying on here. This is what we do. I'll be creating more steps and ways for us to be engaged, but I have 3 teenagers. We're trying to get through the school year. My husband is a teacher. Like, it's bananas, plus everything that's going on here, plus, and so what happens is that you learn how to use your energy in ways that go beyond physical planning. I guess that's another lesson to be learned here. So one is that meditation. I went into that energy anyway. I didn't need my story. I knew where I was going. I knew what I was doing. And the reward in of itself was the experience. And then I came back this week and I said, okay, I'm going back into that experience, and I'm really changing the pattern that was in my aura. And because it was a pattern in my aura, and it wasn't just one thing, it was many things. And it was a metaphor for what was going on. So then I went ahead and cleared it for everybody and created what I would want to be there in its place. So now there's that template where there used to be a block. So now there's this beautiful like crystal template mandala in there for all of us, right? And those are the beautiful kinds of things that I love to do. So bringing this glyph into my home today, we've activated it, we've used it for healing, and so now I'm taking it to another level and I'm utilizing it. And I have another glyph this morning I have to do something with. And what happened this morning, and I know I'm talking really fast because I have to get going here, is sometimes you have to move this fast. Sometimes this is how you get out of your head and into action and aligning with your heart. You got to get your mind going a little fast, and then you take an opportunity and you take off. You don't let it see where it's going, because it might not allow you to get there. So what comes to me is, I was given this information as soon as I woke up this morning. It came to me like in a vision, a picture, had a little bit of words to it, but it was more a feeling and an action. And I already felt that it was like halfway accomplished. And it was like, okay, this is going to stay in my aura. This is going to stay in my inner sphere, my sphere of influence, until it's actually completed. So I will not be able to forget about it. So even if I want to go to someplace else, this is a priority, and I've been sticking to my priority. So that is one of the things I'm gonna go do next. So if you have a vision and you don't like it, go through that challenge and then come back and reset that and make it be what you want it to be, so you can create a healing mandala, a new pattern, a crystal grid, a new light source and energy where one used to be. Second of all is you just have to take yourself to your next highest level. Do not compare yourself with other people. That will mess you up. Do not allow other people to engage in a way of comparing notes. What comes to me now, too, is one of the biggest reasons why we as healers aren't developing a way that is accelerated the way we can be, is because when we get together in a group, not all groups, I'm just saying there's this pattern in healers, which is we have used each other, and it's a good way to say, okay, Are we seeing the same thing? Because then what happens is if we see something different than someone else, then we think that we are wrong and they're right. Guess what? Everybody's right. Did you see something? Did you feel something? Did you know something? Did you just have a awareness? That's yours and that's important. Think about a crystal. There's so many facets of the crystal. And if you took a slice of the crystal and you looked at the shape and where it was at, it would be different than absolutely every other crystal. So when you come to a group and say there's 100 people in the group and you're the only person that sees something, guess what? You're the only person out of 100 people who maybe saw it, and or maybe you're one of 10 that are willing to share it. Maybe that you bring the words so that other people can expand to their perception and they hear it. So it's kind of like a game we played, like when we were in elementary school, everyone got a slip of paper. And the slip of paper had different facts. And in order to solve the mystery, or in order to put the story together or put the timeline together, you had to have all the facts. I was in 5th grade, and I remember this, Mrs. Hughes' class. And so what did she do? I loved her so much. I learned so many things about life in her class, because what we saw was like absolutely everybody had to give their piece of information, and we had to communicate, because one piece of information was related to another piece of information, which helped put all the pieces together. But if anybody wasn't communicating, if somebody didn't give all their information, if we didn't work together and really as a group and as a team, we wouldn't figure it out. Okay, it's the same thing. I don't know if you heard my video, but the short part about it is one time I went to a gathering. I saw for the first time beautiful, wide open crown chakra, like a golden, beautiful fountain. One of my teachers was giving a spiritual lecture at the end of a spiritual weekend. We're all half asleep, which helps. I don't recommend it, but if you are half asleep, you are more likely to see people's auras, especially if they're a strong spiritual teacher connected to light. And that's what happened. And I thought, wow, I'm going to see crown chakras now. This is so amazing. Everything I've done is like worth it. You know, I was like, so I had to have been only in my studies for about 6 months, because my teacher had left around 7 months, 8 months. 9 months, something like that. She was not there that long. And I had to really, I jumped intense, full feet in with her, lived with her. She taught me so much, and then she was gone. And that's another repeated pattern I've had. I'm like, I was all in, I was there, I changed my life, I changed my job, I manifest $50,000 so that I was able to just spend that time with her. It was amazing, right? Okay, so fast forward, forward, to Mrs. Hughes' class information. You're the same way. So when I saw that teacher's crown chakra, okay, I didn't see a crown chakra. Like I saw, even amazing, really, really amazing. Her image, her imaging, her visualization of her crown chakra as she was presenting this information and sending the information out her crown chakra to everybody. So that's what came to me later. It's like, oh, okay, this is really beautiful. So what happens is we project things into the group and into the environment. And although that was amazing, and I loved that she did that, and that was a part of our studies, is teaching us how to project from our crown chakra when we're giving lectures and things, really amazing. But it helped me, because I said, I want to know the truth. I not the truth in like what's right and what's wrong. I want to know what's true. I really want to know in that energy. Is that really her crown chakra? It's not her crown chakra. It's like, well, kind of. It's her projected image of her crown chakra, and it was felt through my crown chakra. You know what I mean? So it was really a beautiful thing. But I bring this story forward to tell you that even if it is a beautiful, gorgeous crown chakra, it may not be that person's actual crown chakra. It may be a projected image of their crown chakra, okay? So when you're in a group responsible for our energy, what happens is we might have received something and then projected it into the group. Or let's say people are afraid they're not going to see anything, and so they do project beautiful things, or angels, or they want to see, archangel, whatever, or they want to see their beautiful ancestors. There is the projection of it, and there's the receiving of it. Now, in our world, we're projecting things all the time. That's our hologram. We have to be here in the world, actively projecting from our pituitary gland, from all of our chakras, creating our own hologram, right? So, to end, let's see if I can give a synopsis of the lessons. Again, go for the lesson, even if it's people closing in. Go where you need to go. Keep your eye on where you're going. Second, if you have a dream, a visualization, something happens in your life, breathe, get into a clear space in yourself, in your heart, in your breath, and then project the image that you want. In this case, I gave you the example of how I was standing there. People were edging me out. I went in anyway. This time I was part of the circle, the inner circle, and we had the beautiful golden light in the center, and we all created a spiral and invited everybody that wanted to come in. Everybody, 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 everybody is welcome. It's kind of like the difference between a 3D experience and a 5D experience. A 3D experience says, oh, this is my group. These are the people that I'm invited. Those other people are not invited. And even thinking, wow, who else should I invite? Oh, wow, who else has invited me? Right? So that's a 3D experience. A 5D experience is like, okay, here's the beautiful light. I'm going to invite people, and then more and more people are going to find out, and everyone's invited to the party, and there could be 100, 1,000, 2,000, a million, a billion, 2 billion, right? You connect with the energies out into the universe, and that's exactly what happens. So we can do that here in this time, in this space, for what it is we're doing. Lead with your heart, follow through with your purposeful, aligned actions. Go back and create these beautiful mandalas or a crystal grid, or sing a beautiful song, so that there's more opening. I think that's about it. Great love and light. Activation of your glyph. Take a glyph and you can ask it to be activated. You can go into a meditation, literally go into that glyph. You can see it, feel it, sense it, or just know. The other thing is that my network that I'm connected to is I also have there's a group of people who are not teachers. They are straight up healers. Like, I have people that have been connected because what they do is they help other people, but they have other jobs they're doing. And it's totally amazing and it's totally mind-blowing. I was going through a really tough time in my life, and I'd done everything I could. I'd learned all these techniques. I was doing everything I possibly could other than going into debt, because I knew my children's health was not going to require me. That's what I did, into debt. And so it didn't, but I did a lot of things in the meantime. And I did it with a lot of love. And yes, I got frustrated, but I would say, okay, that door is closed. I've done that. What's next?